Hey, what's up everyone? Lara here from testprepinsight.com, and today I'm going to be re-reviewing the SAT prep course from Magoosh. And now let me explain. So I used and reviewed this SAT prep course a couple years ago, but since then, Magoosh has made some pretty significant changes to their SAT course and added some new features. So today we're going to take a fresh look at this prep package and give you my honest thoughts. So if you're ready, let's get right to it. By the way, I just want to mention up front here that since I'll be sort of limited to just talking about the big ticket items in this video, if you find you need more detail at any point, you could always check out our full detailed written review on our website. An easy way to get there is just Google Test Prep Insight Magoosh SAT Review. All right, so I just want to kick this off by quickly covering pricing and the two different course formats, because this is actually where one of the unique changes has been since we last reviewed this SAT course. So historically speaking, Magoosh has never really offered live classes. Everything has always been self-paced and online. It's kind of been their thing, just economical, digital, on-demand prep courses. But Magoosh currently has a course format with live classes. Basically, they've taken their classic online SAT package and added in about 16 hours of live online class time that's broken down into 2-hour classes twice a week for 4 weeks. I'll touch on this a little bit more later in the review, but that's the gist of the change. So you've now got the classic self-paced course and the premium live class course. And in terms of cost, the online self-paced plan costs right around $130 and runs for 12 months, while the live online package costs around $400 and combines everything in the self-paced package plus on-demand classes and more. Putting that into perspective, that's about half the cost of the SAT courses from Kaplan, Princeton Review, and PrepScholar. And honestly, there aren't many other SAT courses out there that are cheaper or even at the same price level. There are definitely study books and online practice material bundles that cost less, but in terms of full courses, Magoosh is about the most affordable in the space. And that's what draws a lot of people to them. They just offer a really solid value. Not to mention, it's also worth noting that despite the really approachable price point, Magoosh still frequently runs sales and special promotions, and a lot of times you can find their course for a discounted price. So be sure to check for coupon codes before buying. In fact, I'll do my best to keep the description down below the video screen updated with the most current discount codes out here. So make sure to check that out and save yourself some coin if you decide to go with Magoosh. I often see their packages discounted by up to 10%. Okay, now that we've covered cost and course formats, I want to quickly break down how the Magoosh course works before jumping into my thoughts. So starting at the top, unlike most other SAT courses like the ones from PrepScholar and Kaplan, which I just mentioned, Magoosh uses a much more relaxed approach to their course structure. Where other SAT prep companies give you a tight study schedule where you work through the study material in a very straightforward manner based on learning modules, Magoosh instead sort of allows you to drive your own studies and make your own schedule. Now, to be clear, Magoosh does provide a suggested schedule for the order in which to work through the course, but it's optional whether you want to follow it, and the course overall just has more of a DIY feel to it than the others. But beyond that stylistic approach, when you really boil it down, there are 4 main elements of the Magoosh SAT course: video lessons, practice work, problem solutions, and bonus resources. And live classes is a 5th element if you go that route. But let me expand on this a bit. If you go with the classic self-paced course, the video lessons will be your primary teaching material. There's over 200 of them, typically 4 to 12 minutes long, grouped by SAT section. They cover both content review, like hard math skills tested on the SAT, and test-taking strategies and hacks for attacking the test. And being totally honest here, there are some pros and cons with these Magoosh video lessons, and I'll cover my specific thoughts on them here in a minute. Then after the video lectures, there's the practice work. Magoosh gives you around 1,750 practice problems and 3 full-length practice tests, which in terms of volume isn't super impressive. Kaplan, Princeton Review, and PrepExpert all give you more. In fact, I've actually seen some standalone study books and QBanks that give you more, so not exactly a highlight, but in terms of how you actually work these problems in the program, it's really quite straightforward. You just go to one of the reading, writing, or math tabs from the dashboard and create a custom quiz based on a number of factors. That's how you can make narrowly targeted practice sets. or you can always just take a full-length practice test from the Practice Test tab. And then accompanying every practice problem in the Magoosh course, you also get a detailed text and video explanation. This is something not every SAT company does, so it's a big bonus. But more on this point in a minute when I cover my thoughts. Anyway, you can review these explanations right after each problem in practice mode or at the end of a full session in quiz mode. And last, Magoosh even kicks in a few extras like a score predictor, email support, study plans, and quiz mode, which you can get to from the home screen. So from a high level, you probably get it. Magoosh is a very simple and straightforward SAT course in terms of structure and features. It's almost more like a bundle of SAT resources or tools than it is a traditional course. There are a few core study features that you clearly and easily access straight from the dashboard. And you basically drive your own studies, unless of course you opt for the package with live classes, which honestly is still pretty simple and straightforward in terms of structure. It just weaves 16 hours of live class time into the primary self-paced course. And I know I covered that pretty quickly, so if you do want to see more detailed breakdown of exactly how this course plays out, be sure to check out the full review I mentioned. I'll have it linked down below in the description. I have more detail over there so you can know what to expect. All right, so now that I've covered how the Magoosh SAT course works and provided a quick cost comparison, I'm going to give you the 3 things I really like about this Magoosh course and 3 things I don't, so you have a balanced view. And let's start with the things that I really like. So number 1 for me is the video lessons, and I'll start with this disclaimer. I see the Magoosh video lessons as being both a positive and a negative. That's actually why I have them on both my pros and cons list. But in terms of what I like is the fact that the content is on point. The videos are super short and digestible. Each video is just a few minutes long, like 5-6 minutes, and breaks down whatever concept you're learning. Whether it's evidence-based reading or geometry, they provide solid teaching points, well-explained reviews, and easy to remember tips. And again, I love that the videos are short. Some other companies roll their video lectures into hour-long lessons, so I like that Magoosh breaks off their videos into bite-sized pieces. That way you only have to watch 1 or 2 per day and can still make progress. Then at number 2, like I mentioned earlier, I love that Magoosh gives you a text and video solution for every problem. For visual learners, this is huge. A lot of the time, especially with teenagers, text explanations are just boring and don't engage students for review sessions. By contrast, I think these Magoosh videos do a nice job breaking down problems in an easy to watch and understandable way. All right, so my final highlight here are the live classes. I think they're really good. I sat in on a few of these sessions myself and I thought they were super helpful. The Magoosh instructor leads you through some structured lesson plans covering the highest yield math and verbal concepts, and they stop pretty frequently to use sample problems to demonstrate these points. For students that aren't the best self-studiers and maybe need a little structure or accountability in their studies, I think this format offers a lot of value. Okay, so that covers what I like. Now let's get to the things I wasn't crazy about. But before I get to that, I should mention that every single month here at Test Prep Insight, we give away a free prep course to one lucky person. It's super simple to enter. Everyone is eligible. I'll put all the info and the details down below in the description. It will take you less than 10 seconds, and hey, you never know, you could win a free Magoosh SAT course. Anyway, now on to the negatives, and my first, like I already mentioned, has to do with those video lessons. While I love the content and length of the Magoosh SAT videos, the delivery isn't great. In fact, it's a bit underwhelming. Magoosh uses the old school slideshow style approach with notes on screen and an instructor voiceover. It just feels kind of dated, and I'd like to see them upgrade these video lessons to take advantage of more modern e-learning technology. I think some better visuals would go a long way towards better engaging teens. So bottom line, love the video content and short, digestible length of the video lectures, but the format isn't exactly my favorite. Anyway, the second con I have with Magoosh is the limited number of practice tests. So Magoosh provides up to 3 full-length practice SATs. Notice the air quotes there. I say up to 3 because essentially what Magoosh does is use questions from the same pool of practice problems as the quiz generator to make the practice tests. They all pull from the same source. So the more problems you work directly in the course, the fewer original questions you'll have available for mock exams. They sort of rob Peter to pay Paul, which isn't ideal. I'd rather see Magoosh add up to 5 standalone practice exams with totally original questions for students. Given how many SAT problems are out there for the universe, I don't think it's that big of an ask. And last, my final negative with Magoosh's SAT course is that there are no prep books. Everything is all online and 100% digital, even the live classes. In other words, there are 0 written study materials with this package, including prep books. Personally, I still prefer hard copy prep books because of their ease of use. You can just drag them on the bus, to the beach, lay in bed and study, whatever. I just like having that physical study tool where I can highlight stuff and take notes. That might not matter to younger learners today, but it's something I think does add extra value to the more expensive courses. But anyway, that about does it for the review, so let's get to my final verdict. Personally, I think Magoosh is an awesome budget option for SAT prep. For just a few $100s more than the cost of a standalone book off of Amazon, there's a ton of value here. Detailed video lessons, close to a few thousand practice problems, a score predictor and analysis, email support, text reminders to study. There's just a lot of cool, useful features that I think really work. And even the live classes offer a lot in the way of adding structure to your studies if you go that route. I do have some beef with this course, like a weak video lesson delivery format and how they robbed the question pool to make practice exams. But by and large, I really like this course for the money, and I think Magoosh is an awesome bang for your buck SAT prep package. So that's all I've got for you today. Thank you for watching. Please make sure to subscribe, like, comment, and check our website and the rest of our YouTube channel for more reviews and comparisons. Bye.